jumping on to as a guest here on the DubClub DCTV live stream. So appreciate you guys for having me and having a listen. I don't know if Zeke was before me today. I don't think he could make it. So just going to get me for an hour here. So I'm just going to tweet out the stream. We'll roll here until about 3:30. We'll talk through some games today. And of course, talk about my birds a little bit. But I won't bore you guys too much with that because I know that's not what most people want to hear. So just give me a brief second to share this link, and then we'll dive into some stuff for tonight. All right, so let's do it. Let's get into it. All right, so we're going to look, I think it tweeted out, and I believe we're good. All right, so guys, as we go on here, any questions you guys have, drop them in the live stream. Would love to hear from you all. As mentioned, Matt McKeown from DevPrez Picks, jumping on here for the next 30 minutes or so. We're going to look at a smaller slate tonight, mainly NBA, no NHL also, something else of a little bit of a footnote here. Obviously, the NFL winding down, but the NHL, how about that? No NHL for the next couple weeks. Just something else to keep an eye on. So pretty much, guys, we're limited to NBA and college basketball over the next couple weeks. We do have some golf mixed in there. Any NASCAR fans out there, this Sunday we will have Daytona, so something to look forward to as well on the docket. But February could be a little bit of a drag until we get to March Madness. They make us wait a little bit for the, in my opinion, the best sports month of the season with March Madness alive and well. All right, so we'll look at today the NBA Lotto. I am going to share, guys, my screen for most of this. Also want to shout out what I'm going to use to make some of these picks, my Action Pro app. That's going to give you guys some information into kind of the lens that I look through every day, some great analysis here on the website. So make sure you guys check that out as well. All of my free content will be on the Action app this year. Really excited about that recent announcement. So you guys could check that out for daily analysis of mine, but also many other incredibly talented people that are on there. And it's from an app standpoint, if you are into sports betting in general, best in the game in terms of that. So we will share the screen on both of those. First, we'll look at some of what I'm looking at here for tonight. All right, so now you guys can see more of this. We're going to look at some of the lines for tonight, some games, some sharper angles. If you guys are in here and you have the app, follow me, DevPrez Picks right there. Just launched this last week, so off to a good start here. Been heating up a little bit the last couple days. You guys can see. The other cool thing is you could track everything. So the last 7 days you could see positive 4.56 units. There's the ROI. There's the record as well. So going to get write-ups on these picks. So a little bit of everything that you guys will see last 30 minus 2 units. So from the which is really the last 10 because that's when I started. So we had a couple rough days out of the gate, but heating up as of late. So make sure you guys check that out. What I love is the public betting splits. I get DMs all the time about games, public bets, what's the quote unquote sharp side. And you guys could see a bunch of information. So with the pro report, you'll get even more information. This will be the screen if you guys do opt in. You guys can use my promo code again, DevPrez, for that. But a lot of information that you guys could see where the line opened, the current spread, the total, money line. So you're going to get a little bit of everything here. The news, you guys could see any articles that are on there, picks, props, a little bit of everything. So make sure you guys check this out as well. And that's what we're going to mainly look at today when I'm going through how I'm analyzing some of my picks, looking at the odds screen where you're going to get some expected value. As you guys could see, the edge on some of these bets, for example, the Pelicans getting a 14% edge. So a bunch of different stuff that we'll look at. And then we will also go over to FanDuel and build out one of these lottos for tonight that I'm really looking forward to. So we'll get into all of this over the next, as I mentioned, 30 minutes or so. And then, and then we'll get rock and rolling. Weird sports day, right? Because you kind of have the high of the Super Bowl. And even when your team wins it, it's just like today, this week, this feels like there's not a lot, to look forward to from a sports perspective, but that's not completely true. There's still a lot to get into. Some really big games tonight in the NBA, most notably this Jazz-Lakers game that I want to talk about. Listen, the popular bet in this game undoubtedly is going to be Luka Doncic on his over tonight, and for good reason, right? I think when you look at his numbers, you could see here that actually the favorite bet that we have going on is his under on steals. So a bit of a different angle there. But from a prop standpoint tonight, I'm seeing Luka Doncic essentially on every single ticket. And, I understand why that is the case when you see game one for him. Going to be motivated. We saw how Anthony Davis came out in that game when he played for Dallas on Saturday. Very similar circumstance. This is an all-star, a guy who did not expect by any means to be traded. He wants to show the world how good he is tonight. Now, a minutes restriction could be a thing. There are some different things to look at, when you look at Luka props tonight. Another thing is the blowout factor. They are playing the Utah Jazz, one of the worst teams in the NBA. And as you guys can see where the spread is at now compared to where it opened, the line has continued to move in the direction of Los Angeles. So a lot of the public's going to be on LA tonight. The spread right now, the latest updated spread is 12.5 on LA. So you can see, a lot of the public going to be riding with Lakers. But all right, let's get into a parlay. So now I'm going to share my FanDuel screen. But again, guys, make sure to follow me on the app. Check that out as well for some where all my free content will be every day. So let me stop this. Let me share this, and then we'll go to FanDuel. And now you guys can see the FanDuel. All right, so we're going to build out here a quick parlay. Now, there is 30% profit boost if you guys have that. Opt in today. Take advantage of those every single time that you can. And we're going to start this with Paolo Banchero. So Banchero over his last couple of games been struggling a little bit. Plus 110 though tonight for 25 plus. So this line I find interesting. From the standpoint of he has not scored 25 points or more since January 25th. So he's gone 7 straight games without exceeding this number, been on a bit of a cold streak from a shooting standpoint. Again, this is not due to a lack of volume. This isn't due to anything other than the fact that he just really hasn't shot the ball particularly well. And if you see his numbers, he has had a ton of attempts, a ton of volume. From a minute standpoint, he's averaging 33.5 minutes per game this season in his short career. This has been the most volume that he has seen. If you look at his numbers from a shooting standpoint, 7 for 17, 6 for 14. He did have one game where it was 9 for 15, shot the ball well. He ended up with 23 in that game, 9 for 24, 4 for 19. Those numbers will even out. He's averaging 17 points in February. For reference, when he was healthy earlier in the season in January, in October, he was averaging 29 points per game. So a little bit sluggish since returning. He averaged 21, though, in January. I do think he's going to eventually get back to where he was offensively. So it feels like a good buy low spot. And the fact that this line's only at 110, like if it was still in that 250, 300 range, I would think of this a little bit differently. But you're going up against the Atlanta Hawks, a poor defensive team. I think Orlando's going to have a breakout game tonight. I love Orlando on the spread as well. I already put that one in my action app. So check that pick out. But from a prop standpoint, some real value tonight on the former top pick from Duke. So I think Banchero has a breakout game and will help lead the Magic to a cover and a win. Another game where I'm looking, Tyler Hero, questionable with illness. However, I do think he goes tonight. And if he does, we're going to ladder him up to 25 plus. A lot to like here. Obviously, the recent announcement of the Jimmy Butler deal. Andrew Wiggins will play. From an offensive standpoint, even with Butler in the lineup this year, Hero has been the top option. Having a career year, first-time All-Star. He's averaging almost 24 points per game, and it's been a career best. Most of his career has been around 20 points per game, but he has seen an uptick here this season. A lot of that has to do with the fact of his volume. He's been extremely his usage, has been extremely high most of this season. Now, in the month of February, granted a small sample size of 4 games, 19.8 points. He's only exceeded this number once in the month. Feels like a good buy low spot. He did have 30 points back on the 5th of February against the 76ers. But the shot attempts have been there, 15 attempts or more in every game this month. Typically, Hero is going to get 10 threes up or more, which is an extremely high percentage. If you look in the month, 11 attempts, 11 attempts, 11 attempts. One game, 0 for 7 against the Spurs, but still 7 attempts. If he can get hot, and he can get hot, as we know, and, cash 3 or 4 of these from 3, he should hit this number relatively easy. So good value tonight on Hero. Like Miami in this game. Love Tyler Hero props tonight. Think he has a big-time performance in this spot. Another team that's been, difficult to predict at times, the Dallas Mavericks. I think Kyrie Irving has a huge game tonight. For this one, we're going to take him all the way up to 35 plus. So here's where the parlay will get big time. But a perfect buy low spot on Kyrie Irving. Now, last game he played, he had Anthony Davis in the lineup. Why that was big for his numbers? Obviously, that means less shots. Now, as we all know, AD played great in that debut. Unfortunately, left the game with an injury. He's expected to be out for a bit of time. He will not play tonight. That means Kyrie Irving, again, he went from 15 attempts. He's going to be right back to over 20 attempts tonight with Davis out of the lineup. Big time spot for Kyrie. Sacramento defensively, they have a lot of holes on that defensive team. I've watched a lot of Kings games this season. I know statistically their numbers looked a little bit better, but their last couple games, they've really struggled to slow teams down. If you look back, dating back in the month of February, 144 allowed to the Thunder, 114 to the Wolves, 130 to the Magic, 108 to the Blazers, 118 to the Pels. They've really struggled the last few games on defense. I think Dallas is going to have their way tonight offensively, and I think Kyrie Irving has that vintage Kyrie game where he goes out and drops 35, 40 points in a game where he's going to see a ton of shooting volume. His last two games, he's been cold. He hasn't even gotten to 20, so big-time performance tonight from Kyrie. I think he slips over this number at 35+. So that's going to give our parlay right there in itself a lot of juice, but we could not end this one without a couple more props. I'm going to call back on the action app that I was just showing you guys, the Pro Report. Jordan Clarkson 20+. So going to share my screen with you guys real quick on this because I think this stuff is just so useful and hope that you guys use this as well. But let me pull up Clarkson here and why I love this prop tonight on Jordan. But as we could see, so yeah, the edge we're getting on this play is pretty big. We're projecting Clarkson to score about 21.8 points, so a higher volume than where his prop is placed. Clarkson's usage, again, he's been hurt a decent amount this season, came back recently. Since he's returned, numbers are looking pretty good, was banged up there in the month of January. In February, though, he's been on a heater. He's coming off a game where he scored 24 points. Prior to that, 31 against the Warriors, 21 against the Pacers. So he's exceeded this number in 3 straight games. And if you look at Utah offensively, they don't have a ton of scoring options. They have Lauri Markkanen, but he's not a guy who obviously creates off the bounce. Clarkson's their best playmaker. Sexton's averaged about 18 points, a little north of 18 points per game this season. There's a big dip from an offensive standpoint, after Markkanen and Sexton. So I think Clarkson's going to be that guy. He has a big-time game against his former team tonight. And again, this is one of the favorite plays on our Action Pro app. And then additionally, listen, I'm going to get suckered into it as well. Luka Doncic tonight, I do think he turns up, has a big-time game. But for this is the parlay. Okay, we're taking him 25+. Crazy line on Doncic, though. 30+ even. So this line moved. All right, I think we're going to leave him off of this because this isn't even worth it. Look at this. 470 for 25+ for Luka. It does take our parlay there versus, it gives it a little bit more juice. But with that said, I don't think there is any value to Doncic. But let me see, because I tweeted one out this morning and had Doncic in it, but that line was not there. So give me a second. I'm curious how much this line moved. All right, so Doncic and Clarkson, a parlay on just those two for 15 and 25 was plus 104, and that was at 12.20. So let me see something here where that is currently at, because I believe that line moved a lot. It could be wrong, but I think it moved a sizable amount. Clarkson 15+, and Doncic was 25+ points. Plus 101. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, so that's really odd that we're seeing it like that. But anyway, yeah, the 101. Okay, so the lines shifted a bit, but yeah, Luka Doncic, we're gonna leave him off of this one. However, I do have him in that other parlay. So for our live stream parlay here, this is what we'll do. You put $1 on it, you'll win 47. Put $10, you'll walk away with 478. You got options in this spot. However much you want to put on this, you want to put $100 on it. Look at that. You're gonna walk away with, a little bit south of $5,000. So some options that you guys have tonight. Kyrie obviously going to be the most difficult leg there, but I think we're working with something in this spot. Let me see, checking back into the live stream here, guys, if there are any questions. I know sometimes the comments can be a bit challenging to pull up. If you guys do have any concerns, any comments, any questions, want to open it up to everybody watching this stream now and see if there's anything that you guys want to add or anything else that we have over the next 10, 15 minutes or so before we wrap that one up. I had a question under it asking about the college. Yeah, we could talk about little college hoops. We could talk some college hoops. I'll share this again with you guys for anyone who does want to talk college hoops, and then we'll kind of wrap it there. Share broadcast. And all right, let's talk some college. Let's talk some college basketball for tonight. Not a great college slate tonight, but there's still some games. There's still some games that we can find value on. Big time one in Little John, Clemson taking on North Carolina. Big time game tonight. That line has also shifted a lot. We'll talk about this one. So I'm going to once again share my action app with you guys so you guys can see how this line has shifted. All right. Here we go. Okay, so let's look at the let's just look at the public betting here for this one. College basketball. We'll scroll down. UNC and Clemson. All right. So this opened 5.5. Okay, we're seeing it at 4.5. I actually thought it opened some places at 6.5, but nonetheless, there 4.5 right now is the live spread in this one. I love UNC tonight. I think this is an interesting spot because you have Clemson coming off this emotional win where they take down a Duke team who has hardly lost this season, one of the best teams undoubtedly in college basketball. You take down number 2 at your house on Saturday night, 2 days removed. Okay, you get Duke, who's the hyped up number 2 team, and then you get Carolina here, who's just hanging on for dear life, and they need resume building wins in the worst way. One thing that happens with football season, especially the Super Bowl, you forget how close we are to March Madness when you kind of look back and say, okay, here's the games right now. Clemson has tonight North Carolina has tonight against Clemson. This is one of the games that they desperately need to have a shot keeping their March Madness hopes alive. After this, they have Syracuse at home against NC State, at home against Virginia, on the road against Florida State. None of those will be quad 1 wins. None of them, with the way that their schedule shakes out. They host Miami, one of the worst teams in a power conference this year, and then they go on the road against Virginia Tech. Again, no quad 1 opportunities. The next quad 1 opportunity will be at home in Chapel Hill when they play Duke on the 8th. But today is February 10th. Just for reference, the regular season for Duke, they have less than a month to build. This is the game that North Carolina needs tonight. This is their last shot, in my opinion. I love them. I think they win the game outright. I'm taking the spread. We didn't get the best number on this. Admittedly, last night I think there was better numbers out there, so a little bit late to this one. But I still do think they win this game. Obviously, when I assume that the money line at 170, 165, 167 right here, wherever you can get that money line, I think take a swing at it. So I like North Carolina in this spot. I do think that this could be a strong spot for them tonight. Looking at some trends here with North Carolina. 0-5 in their last 5 games against the spread. What I call this the do system, okay? They're due to get it done tonight. And as you can see, they've struggled ATS on the road this year, 2-7. They've struggled as an underdog this year, 2-5. So everything kind of indicates Clemson in this game. Sometimes when it's like that for me, you guys know how I bet, typically kind of against what everyone's thinking. Sometimes what the numbers do suggest. In this spot tonight, I do think North Carolina is in a good spot to pull this one off. Wanted to see a little more information into the public betting and where the numbers are at right now. You could see the percentage of bets there, 54% on Clemson, 46% North Carolina, and then where the money's coming in. So, yeah, I think North Carolina has a ton of value tonight. I do think that they have value in this spot, but I understand, why a lot of people typically, I have seen a lot of Clemson out there. A lot of people asking me about this game tonight. I get why, but Clemson coming off that big emotional win over Duke feels like a spot to fade them tonight at home against this hungry North Carolina team. This guy will go, Will, you had to. I had to get on. I was happy when I was, today's the perfect day to hop on the DC stream the day after my Eagles win the Super Bowl. And I haven't even really talked about it because we only get so much time on here. I don't want to waste it talking too much about my Eagles. The other big game tonight, guys, is going to be between Baylor and Houston. So this is the other spot where, listen, I do think when you look at these two teams, I think this is a Houston spot. I got them at -9. Right now, a lot of 9.5s out there. You guys could see, is there anything? You Bet Rivers in New Jersey, you could still get an 8.5. Bet 365 here in -9. So yeah, shop that number a little bit. I think Houston's in a good spot tonight. Feels like a bit of a blowout spot for me personally. I do think Houston will take advantage. You could see Houston's been rolling pretty good lately. Baylor, look at this, 1-9 in road games this year against the spread. So they have struggled playing away from home. Big time indication right there. Houston's been okay there, about 500 there as a favorite. They're obviously favorites in most games. The one game they were an underdog, they covered. I believe that was against Kansas, I want to say. In that wild overtime thriller. I think that was the game they were an underdog. I'm not sure. But, yeah, I think Baylor's going to get done. I think Houston's going to get it done tonight back at home. So I like Houston tonight on the spread, and I like North Carolina as an underdog to go into Little John to take down Clemson and win that game. Some other look-ahead spots, guys, this week. If you're just looking ahead in general to what to look forward to on the college basketball slate, tomorrow night, a lot of top 25 games. Florida, Mississippi State, that should be a really good game. Florida coming off that huge win against Auburn. They were ranked 3rd. How about the SEC? Four of the top 5 teams. Auburn will play Alabama this week, 1 versus 2. First time that's happened in a long time. First time ever it's happened between 2 SEC basketball teams in a regular season game ranked 1 versus 2. That's going to be electric. Can't wait for that game. Really looking forward to that one. That is at 4 o'clock. And now that game is in Alabama. That game they have to flip to like an 8 o'clock game. Give me a better time on that. But yeah, big time game. Also, Kentucky hosting Tennessee. So that one should be fun at Rupp Arena. Purdue taking on Michigan. That's a big time game. Michigan ranked 20th right now. Purdue at 7. A lot of big time top 25 games. Alabama on the road against Texas. Could that be a look ahead spot with Auburn on deck? Indiana, Michigan State, UConn, and Creighton. Huge game. Creighton into the top 25 for the first time in a long time. I don't know if Creighton's been ranked since they began the year ranked 15th. I don't think Creighton, they have not been ranked since November. So long time for Creighton out of the top 25. But they've been hot lately, and UConn dropping out of the top 25. So this is a team who began the year ranked 3rd in the nation. They're obviously going for that three-peat. They're going to be a tournament team, but all of a sudden they fell out of the top 25. Obviously, they've struggled a bit in conference this season for their standards at 8-4. So a lot of big-time games on tap for tomorrow. Love everything that we have going on this slate. But yeah, guys, there wasn't a ton for me today just because, again, this is a small sports slate that, we had. I did want to try to get on, though, share some stuff that I was looking at through the props that I had. I wanted to cook up a quick parlay with you guys. But that's really all I have with a limited slate. There was just not a ton to get into. Of course, could talk to you guys for an hour, and I could talk to you guys all day about the Eagles and that performance last night. Big time performance for my Birds. Hope you guys cashed out some of those Super Bowl tickets. Honestly, it was a game that if your team was in it, gonna say one of the best games ever. If I was watching the game as if my team was not involved in that game, I would say one of the worst Super Bowls ever, from like an entertainment standpoint. And listen, the props in that one, I know a lot of people were not happy with that because of there was a lot of big time props that lost. Saquon Barkley, first touchdown, I believe that was the most bet prop. Travis Kelce touchdown, that was a letdown. Travis Kelce's over was a letdown. Saquon Barkley's rushing over was a letdown. I don't think A.J. Brown hit his over on receptions or yards. Devontae hit his. Hopkins hit his. I'm trying to think. Dallas Goedert was quiet. He was a popular guy in this game. Neither running back for the Chiefs, Hunt or Pacheco, if you took their overs. Both quarterbacks, I believe. I know Hurts went over because I had his prop. I think Mahomes went over his prop too. I think it was like 242. So if you took passing yards over, you ended up happy. But yeah, props were not a hot theme last night in that game. When there was a blowout in Kansas City with where they were at. One of the most dominant performances I've ever seen in the Super Bowl. The score made it look, somewhat respectable. It wasn't. The Eagles really won that game by 5 scores, absolute domination, big time performance. So very, very happy day for me. Very happy day for the Philly faithful. We'll be celebrating this one for a long time. And can't wait till next year. Look forward. Already they got the props up. The Eagles are the favorite, plus 600 to repeat. Chiefs behind them, 650. Ravens. I like the Bills next year. I've said I think eventually, the Bills will get one. Could be their year. I think San Francisco has a lot of value. They're 15-1. A real long shot. You know, our DubClub Chicago guys will like this. Shout out to Lou and the boys, but 40-1. How about the Bears? Get the Bears back involved. But yeah, there's some big long shots that you could throw in there. Cowboys are 55-1. Just looking through teams where I feel like there's gonna be popular long shots. How about the Jets? You put $100 on the Jets, you'll win $12,000. So yeah, I don't know. That might be maybe better donating that 100. But yes, there are lines up right now for next year. NFL draft, a bunch of props coming up. Cam Ward right now, the favorite at -110 to be the first overall pick. Penn State's Abdul Carter behind him. Travis Hunter at +400. But no live, meaningful football now until September in the NFL. College football, we'll get it back in August. But it's all right. We do have March Madness coming up here, and then we'll get in. It'll be April. You know, we'll have NBA playoffs coming, NHL playoffs, MLB will be back. There's always something to look forward to, but it's always a bit of a sad day the day after the Super Bowl's done because, you know, you kind of come down a little bit from the highs as a casual fan of the game. Now, if your team wins it, you could ride that out for a little bit longer, but understandably, you know, some people are not super thrilled with the result last night and how that went, but I enjoyed it. So I hope you guys catch some of your bets there, and yeah, that'll be it. Now, guys, I am going to have some stuff going on right now with DubClub. We just wrapped up a free trial until the Super Bowl. I'll have some more free trial stuff going eventually, but right now we are doing our let me see which one we put under. I don't know if we put our 50% or I think we did our 3-day. Yeah, you guys can hop on right now. A 3-day free trial for all of my DubClub picks. If you guys want them, you'll get all access to all picks. So make sure you guys check that out. Hopefully we're string together a nice little 3 days here before the weekend comes up. And yeah, that'll be it. So make sure you guys are giving a follow at Deb Price Picks on all socials. And check out the VIP, and looking forward to seeing you guys again soon. Hope everybody has a fantastic Monday, and let's cash some bets.